Are you serious? Are you serious? You might want to grab some coffee and try to calm down a little bit here, because we may have a very serious prophetic moment. It seems like we're on a collision course of the perfect storm, maybe taking place right now. We know that the king of Jordan, the king of the Hashmonite kingdom, King Abdullah of Jordan, has arrived and is in Washington. And yesterday he met with President Joe Biden. Not a lot came out of that meeting. It was more of a photo op, more of a handshake. And the only thing that really came out of the meeting was that the United States was going to give Jordan a half a million vaccines for their people. Okay. That's about all came out of it, really. But we know that he went there on an emergency basis based on the Temple Mount and the skirmishes on the Temple Mount between the Israelis and the Palestinians. But there's more here than what meets the eye, because this morning, King Abdullah II was meeting with Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and supporting staff for a working breakfast. And this is where the real meeting, folks, the real meeting took place. I'll tell you all about that in just a second. But first, got to put a shout out today for noblegoldinvestment.com. Oops. Hang on a second. I'm live, darling. I'm live.
So sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No. You had to take a little walk. Heidi's getting ready to take a final exam
For my final.
for Hebrew 5. Okay.
Yes, my
Final Hebrew exam. And she's been amazing. Passing the first 4 classes of Hebrew, but this is the final of the final. Hebrew 5, right, darling?
Yes.
All right. And you guys, by the way, noblegoldinvestment.com, you know what? Inflation, hyperinflation, not quite yet, but this is the highest inflation in 29 years and maybe headed to go worse as the economic plan for America seems to be spinning out of control. You might want to consider transferring some of your gold and silver. You might want to transfer some of your 401k retirement funds into some gold and silver IRAs. Okay, so I'll tell you what. If you do, Colin Plume will give you this beautiful 1 ounce of pure silver Liberty coin proof. It's gorgeous. And he'll give this to you for free. Comes in this nice little case. Just pick up the phone and call Colin Plume right now today. Call Colin Plume right now today at
Right now today.
right now today at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Okay. Try to remember. I should just write it down so I can't forget. Thank you, Brandon, for keeping me on track here. All right, guys, here's what's going on.
Call for masks in school despite CDC guidance. I was just told downstairs, did you hear the news?
Tell the news. Say it loud so they can hear it.
I was just told downstairs, did you hear the news? And I said, no, I didn't hear the news.
What's the news?
That we're supposed to start wearing masks again. I'm like, no, didn't hear that news. Call for mask in school. Right here, I'm reading off the television.
Wait a minute.
Call for mask in school despite CDC guidance.
Okay, now we could show you some pictures, and I may show you tomorrow. They got posters everywhere about who's supposed to do what, and I'm not really going to talk about this issue on YouTube, but I think I will share it on my app. I'll show some footage.
The point is, despite CDC guidance.
Despite. I can show you more. I'll do a video and show you actual signs all over this hotel of what who's supposed to do what. Some people are supposed to do one thing. Some people are supposed to do another. I'll show you. They'll be on my app. It's crazy, Heidi. King Abdullah II is in Washington. He did meet with the President of the United States, but now the big meeting, which the media is not talking about. And oh, by the way, when everybody was watching Jeff Bezos go into space, the Vice President of the United States was meeting with King Abdullah of Jordan for breakfast, a working breakfast with the Secretary of State and staff to support it all. Interesting. While we were looking up, things were going on right here in the city of Washington, D.C. What was behind all of this? Well, let me share some info for you on this right now. Here's what we're finding out. If I can find it. Where'd my article go? They don't want me to know, do they? They're moving the article around on me.
What article?
An article I just pulled up here to discuss. All right, here we go. Here's that's not the one. I'll do it. That wasn't the article I had, and they took it away from me. I'll pull it back up again.
The question is always, who is they?
Who is they, and how do they do that? The article I had is the big deal. Okay, not this other fluffy one, but I'm going to get it back. Okay, here's what's happening. Vice President Kamala Harris was meeting today with King Abdullah II of Jordan and his crown prince son, 27-year-old son, as well as the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, and they were at the Naval Observatory. The Vice President Kamala Harris hosted King of Jordan. That breakfast was held at her residence, but then they went on to the Naval Observatory. This is the first time a vice president has ever held a meeting with an Arab leader in person, Heidi. Mm-hmm. Think about this. Of all the vice presidents we've had, all the meetings with heads of state, never before has a vice president held a personal meeting with a head of state from the Arab world. But it just happened today. Interesting. The trio are expected to discuss cooperation on issues in the Middle East. What does that mean? Also, the meeting comes from President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, who hosted the King Abdullah and Queen Reina and her son, Prince Hassan, at the White House yesterday. Biden praised King Abdullah as an ally in a very tough neighborhood, as the two leaders huddled in the Oval Office while Jill Biden hosted Queen Reina for tea in the yellow Oval Room of the White House residence yesterday. But Harris is getting down to business. So really the real business is being done by the vice president. First time ever a vice president meeting with a Arab head of state in the history of this Republic of the United States. Harris welcomed Jordan King Abdullah II and bin al Hussein Jordan of Jordan, the 27-year-old crown prince, whose name is Hussein bin Abdullah, to the vice presidential residence. The leaders are being hosted for a working breakfast where they're expected to discuss U.S.-Jordan relationship and cooperation on regional issues. The vice president emerged from her residence in a powder blue pantsuit just before 9 a.m. as the king and crown prince arrived in the black SUV. The car mostly blocked the view of Harris as she greeted her guests, but the trio was seen from the back walking together into the front door. The three leaders were not wearing masks. I repeat, the three leaders were not wearing masks. Okay, which I know, but why is things changing? Despite the vice president's potential exposure to COVID-19 during a Tuesday meeting with at least 2 of the 6 Texas Democrat lawyers who have now tested positive for the coronavirus, even though the lawmakers were vaccinated, they both came down with the virus.
That was my question. Were they vaccinated?
6 Democrats. 2 of those guys came down with the virus, met with the vice president without mask, and then she's meeting with the king and crown prince of Jordan without mask, despite those lawmakers have had the vaccine and still got the virus. Okay, Harris had a COVID-19 test over the weekend before the doctor's appointment at Walter Reed, which came back negative. Now, in May, Harris held a phone call with King Abdullah II, but the meeting Tuesday morning is the vice president's first in-person meeting with an Arab leader. It's the first vice presidential meeting ever with an Arab leader. Think that through. That is extraordinary, folks. You have to understand the significance of why that is happening. The Jordanian king visit is the second time Harris has hosted a foreign leader. So this is the second foreign leader. No other vice president has ever done that. She hosted German Chancellor Angela Merkel last week from Germany. Okay. So what did they talk about? Well, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also there. And so the question is, what did they discuss? Well, the Temple Mount had to be one of the subjects without question. I mean, the Temple Mount had to be one of the subjects. But we still don't know exactly what was discussed. I would think that the Temple Mount, the fact that Jordan is in charge of the Temple Mount, how that the Muslim community had decided that they did not want any more Jews or Christians coming up that wooden ramp that takes you to the Temple Mount, because the wooden ramp is getting rickety and not safe. And after having 2 different bleachers collapse in Israel this year, they were saying, don't let nobody else up here. So Israel says, okay, fine, we'll just repair it, and then everybody can continue. They're saying, no, you can't repair it either. So, of course, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said, forget about that. We're going to repair it, and they're going to go on up. Matter of fact, go on up now. And so for 72 hours there, he allowed Jews and Christians to go up on the Temple Mount and worship. And they sang and everything, which that's actually over the top. That's breaking the status quo, really. And so Muslims came out of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, throwing rocks at the Jews who were worshiping up on the Temple Mount. That resulted in Israeli police showing up with tear gas eventually and rubber bullets, driving back the rioters who were attacking the Jewish worshipers. So what happened? King Abdullah got on it. The second, King Abdullah of Jordan, gets in a plane and flies straight to Washington for what he says should be an emergency meeting. I think, though, there's something. We knew this day was coming because Mike from around the world said, I think by next Thursday, remember he said this last week, by next Thursday, we'll probably be talking about the Sand King is walking. The Sand King is walking. He said that last Thursday. Is he referring to King Abdullah II? The Temple Mount explosion on the weekend. King Abdullah II making an emergency trip to Washington. Now discussing things with Kamala Harris, the vice president. Is this what he meant when he said the Sand King is walking? I don't know. And it's a question we're going to have for Mike from around the world this coming Thursday for sure. But remember, he said that. I think next Thursday we'll probably be talking about the Sand King is walking. All right. Looks like this is going to be an interesting question for him and a whole lot more information. Is King Abdullah talking about the Temple Mount and what should be the rules of the Temple Mount? Or is he trying to put pressure on the United States to clamp down on the Israelis and prohibit them from worshiping on the Temple Mount? Number two, is he there to talk about the Abraham Accords? Under President Trump, of course, you had Morocco, Sudan, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, all signing the Abraham Accords. And you'd already had a peace arrangement with Jordan and Israel. I mean, Egypt and Israel, and then Jordan with Israel. So that's 6 nations that have already entered into a covenant with Israel. And then you got 2 other nations who've also joined in, and that was Kosovo and Serbia have also joined in. So now you have 8 nations have joined in this normal relations with Israel. So are they talking about the Abraham Accords? Is this about how to move this peace agreement found in the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 27, that Jesus said, when you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. And then he says, for the Jews that live in the West Bank, those which is the Judea and Samaria, he says, you got to flee into the wilderness. You got to get into the mountains, which would be over in Petra, for protection. So are we having a discussion? Is this all, and the Temple Mount has to be included in that. So, I mean, there could be that somebody's got to confirm this covenant. I'm not saying King Abdullah II is the one that would confirm it, but certainly, and some people have probably wondering about, the woman that rides the beast. There's a lot of questions here, wearing scarlet and purple and all that. There's a lot of questions here that we're going to be watching to see how things are materializing. But also, you need to know that while all this is going on, I had a conversation this morning with Agent 2020, and part of that discussion was simply there's been some skirmishes, between the Israelis. Here's what happened. Israel went into Iran using airstrikes, and they hit some Iranian locations in Syria, which Iran shouldn't be there, parked there, pointing weapons toward Israel. United States even helped Israel do this. U.S. used drones. Lebanon responded after that, firing rockets out of Lebanon into northern Israel. Israel then responded, firing from their tanks, artillery, and what have you, back at Lebanon from across the border. So skirmishes are going on. King Abdullah II is in. King Abdullah II from Jordan is in Washington, meeting with the president and then with the vice president. And there's questions, and are they discussing the Temple Mount? I say yes. Are they discussing the overall peace arrangement, the Abraham Accords, and what could set up the rebuilding of the Third Temple, and which ultimately leads us down the road to the abomination of desolation? I would like to read Revelation 17 just as a reminder of things that the Bible talks about this beast kingdom. And it does tell us that there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And you can continue reading. Of course, we've already talked about the 7 heads and 10 horns. That is found in the book of Daniel, and it's also found in the book of Revelation, chapter 13. It's referring to the beast kingdom. And so certainly it says, if you go on down, there's a lot of great scriptures here, but I'm going to skip on down to the 12th verse and read this one. The 10 kings which thou sawest, the 10 horns which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. I found it these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords, and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Are you called? Are you chosen? And are you faithful? This is what's happening in these last days. We're getting more and more information now of what's coming. Now, I would like for you to step back and read the entire chapter, because will open your eyes even greater to this prophecies in the Bible. But certainly, again, these 10 horns are 10 kings, but they're not kings as of yet. In other words, these 10 individuals are not sitting on thrones or don't have kingdoms right now, but they're given power with the beast with 1 hour. I believe they are 10 oligarchs who will be, or czars, who will actually be made kings 1 hour with the beast. And actually, if you didn't see my message on that, I preached a message at Freedom Fellowship on it, but I really brought it out on Steve Quayle's webinar, Extinction Protocol. And I even had a lady, Heidi, in Branson, Missouri, told me she watched my message on Steve Quayle's webinar. And she said it was phenomenal. And it really was. I have to say, that one was phenomenal. So you can check it out over at Steve Quayle. All right, guys. Someone says it was great. I saw it. Thank you, Ray Marie. Thank you. What does 1 hour with the beast mean? Well, that's a great question. Could it be just that's the moment they all meet and the beast, the Antichrist, makes them the 10 kings of the earth? I'm assuming that happens. Some type of proclamation and coronation by the Antichrist, blessed by the false prophet. No doubt that's probably what's going to happen. We're certainly living in the last days. These prophecies are coming to pass. We got to keep our eyes open. There's a lot of symbolism here. And thank you, Tara. There's Extinction Protocol. Guys, let me remind you of a couple things. Number one, the interviews, actually, I did with Pastor Jim Bakker are going to air on the Jim Bakker Show this Friday morning. Now, Jim Bakker's on everywhere. He's on just about every Christian television network there is. He's even on European networks and Middle East networks and everywhere, Canada, everywhere. And so all you got to do is check out your television and find out what time the Jim Bakker Show comes on in the neighborhood where you live, because he reaches 1.6 billion homes. I'm on Friday morning. I'm on one show Friday morning, and I'm on the second show Monday morning. So Friday morning, July 23rd, Monday morning, July 26th. I'm on two shows in a row with Jim Bakker, along with Derek and Sharon Gilbert. And I even sing Mission Temple Fireworks Stand in both shows. And I think there's a fountain filled with blood. I sing 3 songs in 2 shows. Incredible. I can't believe I did that. What was I thinking? But anyway, great crowd of folks came. Our partners of Paul Begley Prophecy Ministries, many of you came from all over Arkansas and Missouri and other places to be part of the live audience. I mean, Jim was impressed. Jim Bakker was impressed. It was one of the biggest crowds he'd ever seen. And we only had 8 days to promote it. I told him, you give me 3 months and we'll we'll fill this thing all the way up beyond capacity. So anyway, check it out, guys. Check it out, okay? It's this Friday morning and next Monday morning. I don't know when my interview with the Russians is going to air, but it's going to air on REN TV, the largest television network in Russia, out of Moscow. I did that interview, and so that should be airing very, very soon. They were editing it, and they would let me know when it's going to air. I'm going to get my hands on that one and put it here on YouTube when they are finished with it. So we'll keep you up to speed on that. Also, I want you to remind you that if you haven't got your ticket for Aliens, Angels, and Demons, you should get your tickets, guys. We're only what's today, the 20th, Hattie? Okay, we're only about 17 days before the webinar is August 6th and 7th. It's August 6th and 7th. Don't wait till the last second. Get in there, get your ticket now, get early in line so that you get your links immediately right away on August 6th, and you'll be ready to go. So get your tickets now. Aliens, Angels, and Demons. That's going to be amazing. What a lineup we have. Steve Quayle, L.A. Marzulli, William Henry of Ancient Aliens, Rex Bear, Laura Eisenhower, the great-granddaughter of the President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Mr. MBB 333, other people that I'm not remembering, myself, and then Bart Begley's film, and there's still others. It's amazing what's going to be. That's going to be an incredible incredible conference. Pastor Melvin Whittington, there we go. He's in there as well. You don't want to miss it. It's August 6th and 7th. August 6th and 7th, the webinar. Don't miss it. All right, guys, I got more information to bring to you, and I will be back live a little bit later. So hang on, get ready, because Jesus is coming soon. No doubt about that. He's coming soon. And if you haven't got Climate Chaos, be sure and get Climate Chaos. We're shipping those right now, and you can get yours ordered and let me ship. You know what you could do? You could order Climate Chaos right now. Go to my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com and order Climate Chaos so I can ship that to you right now. We can ship it tomorrow. Order it now, ship it tomorrow. That'll give you time to get it and watch that webinar, Climate Chaos. And then about the time you get done watching that, you'll be ready for Aliens, Angels, and Demons, and you can watch that, get your ticket, and watch that one in a couple weeks from now. So this is your moment, guys. Let's get it all done. If you haven't got your copy yet of Israel, formerly Jacob, Israel, and Israel Hall and Jeffrey Claire Coper, if you haven't got their CD, boy, you should get that right now. Order 2 of them or 3 of them, so it makes it easier for me to just ship it to you. I'll send you 2 or 3 at once. Get your order in on that. Those are blowing out the door. I mean, literally, we've had to reorder 3 times. We did not expect the response that we've received on that. And we're really helping these guys. Really, we're helping these guys get the money to record their next full album, the full album, which will have 12 songs on it. So, formerly Jacob CD, get it now. It's available. How's Pastor doing? He's getting better. Yeah, he's getting better. He's coming around. Anytime you get the flu. But so he's coming along. That's the word I was told today. Doing real good. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. And
guess what?
What, Heidi?
Guess whose birthday it is?
Whose birthday is it?
Alice.
Who?
Alice. Remember Alice and Regina who went with us to Israel from Switzerland?
Yeah, yes, from Switzerland.
And Regina sends us beautiful blankets all the way from Switzerland.
Awesome.
She's part of the blanket
yes.
industry.
They are really a nice couple too, weren't they? And they're from Switzerland. And they have a home They hold home services in their home in Switzerland.
Yes.
He's a pastor, and
Yes.
and they really are wonderful people. Today's her birthday. I mean his birthday. Excuse me. So wow.
Mhm.
All right, guys. God bless you guys. I appreciate all the hard work you guys are doing too out there. Prayer warriors, be praying. I'll be in. By the way, I'll be in Florida Sunday morning, won't we, Heidi?
Yes, we will.
Under the big tent, Freedom Fellowship. You don't want to miss it.
Mhm.
It's going to be powerful in the name of Jesus. God bless all you guys. Anything else we got to remind them, Heidi?
Be there.
Be there and be ready. And I'll be back later today. I'll be back.